We're always told that real, meaningful change takes a long time. Weeks, months, years of just grinding it out. But what if one of the most powerful tools for change we have could actually work its magic in just a single hour? Today, we are diving deep into single-session therapy, an approach that kind of flips the script on everything we thought we knew about mental health. So let's just get right to it. Can 1 hour, 60 minutes of therapy really truly change a person's life? I mean, our culture has drilled into us that therapy is this long-term commitment, right? A slow, steady process. The whole idea of solving a deep-seated problem in one sitting sounds almost impossible. But what if that whole assumption is just wrong? Okay, so the difference really boils down to this fundamental shift in mindset. Traditional therapy often focuses on the problem, the diagnosis, with the therapist as the expert who's going to guide you on this long journey. But the single-session mindset, it completely turns that on its head. It starts by assuming the client is the expert on their own life, that they walk in the door already equipped with strengths they might not even see, and that one powerful, focused conversation can unlock a change that's already bubbling under the surface. So what does that actually look like? Well, in single-session therapy, or SST, the therapist and the client walk in with a shared agreement, and it's a big one. This meeting, this 1 hour, might be the only one they ever have. The goal isn't to start some long, drawn-out process. It's to make this single hour as incredibly helpful and transformative as it can possibly be, right here, right now. And honestly, the absolute best way to see this in action is to walk through the incredible story of a client named Jose. His session plays out like a perfectly structured 3-act play. Act 1, build a real, genuine connection. Act 2, find a single, solvable problem to tackle. And Act 3, end with a powerful dose of hope and agency. So, let's break it down. All right, Act 1, building the alliance. The guiding principle here is so simple but so profound. Connect before you correct. The first few minutes aren't about diagnosis or assessment. It's about building a real human-to-human relationship. So let's meet Jose. He's a man in his 40s, and he walks in feeling like he's carrying a, quote, ton of bricks. Years before, a brain aneurysm had almost taken everything from him. It left him partially paralyzed, unable to speak for a while. And even though he's recovered a lot since then, that weight, that ton of bricks, is still there. And yet, to even get to this session today, he rode his bicycle. Now, notice the therapist's very first move. It's brilliant. He doesn't ask, so what's wrong or what brings you in? Instead, Monty, the therapist, immediately points to a strength. He zeroes in on the incredible effort it took Jose just to show up. And that's not just small talk. It is a very deliberate choice to start the conversation with what's right with Jose, not what's wrong. And then when Jose admits, well, I kind of fibbed, I took the bus part of the way, Monty doesn't judge him. He playfully teases him. Oh, we're starting off on the wrong foot already. And in that one tiny moment of shared laughter, the whole dynamic in the room just shifts. It's not a clinical assessment anymore. It's a real conversation between two people. The alliance, it's built just like that. Okay, so the connection's there, they're on the same team. Now it's time for Act 2, finding the focus. It's time to look at that ton of bricks Jose is carrying and work together to find just one single brick that they can lift off his shoulders today. The goal is to negotiate a solvable problem. And because that trust has been established, Jose feels safe enough to reveal the true weight of that burden. He shares that after the aneurysm cost him his job, his marriage, his whole life, he had been so lost that he wanted to end it all. He was suicidal. And this wasn't just a vague, passing thought. Jose lays out 3 specific, detailed, and terrifying plans he had created. Plan A, walk in front of a bus. Plan B, carbon monoxide from a truck. Plan C, stand in front of a train. I mean, the crisis wasn't just serious. It was immediate and very, very real. Now, this is a moment where a lot of therapists might pull out a formal checklist, a standardized risk assessment. But because of the alliance they've built, Monty can just ask, directly, humanly. He asks the most important question in the world right then. So, How close are you to thinking about doing that now? And Jose's answer. This is the moment the entire session pivots. He looks at Monty and says, I won't do it. You can almost feel the air change in the room. You know why? Something happened.
He tells the story. He went to the train tracks to go through with his plan. And to make it easier on himself, he swallowed 40 muscle relaxers, enough to knock anyone out. He laid down on the tracks and just waited. But the train never came. He didn't even get sick from the pills.
And now just listen to how the therapist responds to this. This is the magic right here. He hears a story about a suicide attempt, and he finds incredible strength. Instead of focusing on the desperation, he marvels at Jose's physical power. Man, you're some strong character to be able to take that. In that moment, Monty completely reframes the entire story, from one of weakness and failure into an unbelievable story of resilience.
So Jose went home fully expecting to die in his sleep, and he made a deal with God. If I wake up tomorrow, I'll never try this again. The next morning, he woke up feeling fine, like nothing had happened. And for Jose, this wasn't just a lucky break. It was a sign. A divine intervention, a promise that he now felt completely bound to keep.
And that brings us to the grand finale, Act 3, a powerful close. The goal here isn't just to say, okay, time's up. It's to reinforce this new story that Jose has just discovered about himself, and to seal in that flicker of hope so it can grow into a flame. The session ends with this incredibly powerful practice called a commendation. The therapy team basically just holds up a mirror and reflects back all of the strengths they've seen in Jose over the last hour. His huge heart, his insane resilience, his pure force of will. They validate his new story, that he's not a broken man, he's a survivor. If God has a football team, they tell him, he made a good draft pick with you. And you can literally see how hearing this new story about himself changes his entire focus. He's no longer defined by what he lost. Suddenly he wants to take all the help that people have given him and pay it forward. He has found a purpose that is so much bigger than his own pain. And this isn't just some vague, fuzzy idea. No, Jose leaves that session with a concrete, actionable plan. He's going to get a puppy, and he's going to visit patients in rehab hospitals. He's taking his own painful memory of profound loneliness and turning it into a mission of connection for others. He doesn't just have a new story. He has the first chapter already written. So, what is the lasting impact of a single hour? It's so easy to be skeptical, right? I mean, it's a great story, a powerful hour, but did one conversation really change anything for Jose in the long run? Well, the answer came years later. Monty, the therapist, just happened to run into someone who knew Jose, and she told him that after that single session, he was like his old self again. He got the dog, he was a regular at the local rehab centers, visiting patients with his little dog, just like he said he would. The change wasn't temporary, it was real, and it stuck. You know, Jose's story really forces us to reconsider what change even looks like. Of course, healing can be a long road, but sometimes the pivot, that one single turn that changes your entire trajectory, that can happen in a single hour. It leaves us with this one final powerful question. What if the most important change doesn't happen slowly over months and years, but in that one single powerful moment, you realize you have the strength to take the very first step?